Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Alive and Well-ish. Heavy on the ish this time. It's been a few months since we've been here. Like 2, 3 months? Wait, it hasn't been as long as I
It
thought.
was no, it's been long. It was before Halloween because we were gonna do a Halloween episode, and then we
Yeah,
both
but it's
just
only
so
a 2.5 months now. In
yeah.
my head,
Okay,
I'm thinking like 6 months.
it feels like it.
Probably because
It-
the first time, like we started and then we're like, it took forever after that. Anyway.
At least
But
it's
yeah,
on
we're
brand,
back.
honestly. At least we're consistent. We're not
Yeah.
consistent in the traditional way. We're consistent
Right.
with our hot mess.
Exactly. And it's totally fine. I feel like,
Yeah.
you're here. This is probably not going to be the last time we go MIA,
I
but a
feel
lot
like
of life happened.
I feel like most of the people I've talked to too, it's one or the other. Like it's not people who are listening once a week or anything like that. It's like they binge the episodes we have and
Hmm.
then, you know what I mean? So, it's fine. So maybe people listening won't even know and it's us just calling ourselves out on the disaster that we are.
And that's okay. I don't even feel like it's, it is what it is. Like this isn't yet like the meat and potatoes of our life. Like maybe, hopefully one day soon.
That'd be fun.
But there's a lot of other stuff too, especially with kids and life. And you guys have had
Yeah.
a lot of like stuff with Jason. I've got my stuff coming up. I see my surgeon in a week. We've got, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to
Like,
we'll talk about that because actually yeah, we're going to talk about that because I need an update and then I mean if you're cool with it, we can just update
yeah,
everybody because
yeah, I don't care. Like I'm pretty game. I also see my hair, it's getting longer. You can't really
uh,
tell. But I
yeah,
shaved the
it's
sides of my head.
I know. It looks so good.
I
I love it.
shaved the
If
sides. I love
anybody
it.
could pull it off, it'd be you. For anyone who doesn't know, Gabriela shaved her head completely, what, like 2 years ago?
About a year and a half ish, like right before I had the surrogate baby. I was
Yeah,
yeah.
you were really pregnant. I do remember
I
that.
was heavily pregnant. It was like right before they moved down. The parents moved down because we were getting ready to have the baby. Why is my computer doing this? Anyway, and so yeah, I shaved it right there. Well, I didn't even really shave it because I didn't have a high enough guard. I started to shave it and then I just ended up cutting it with like shears all the way around,
Right.
but it was super short.
It was super, super short. You're right, you didn't shave it completely. It was, but yeah, it was
But
really short.
to get into, because this is a mental health podcast, I've been struggling with trichotillomania, like hair pulling really bad lately. And I struggled with it when I was in like junior high, like 13, 14 or whatever, but it was my lashes that I used to pull out. Didn't know
Ah,
what it was when I didn't know what it was at the time. Obviously, when I was younger, I'm just like, it was just like an anxious, like I don't
yeah.
know, I think there's a word for it. It's like body focused repetitive movement or something like that. But
It's not like I feel like the word tick is not the right word. It's not a right
right.
word, but
But it is like that. It's just like
it's the
an urge.
family. Yeah, it's like the family of that.
It is.
And
It's the same if you do like if you skin pick or anything like that, like people that skin pick and like you feel like you literally cannot stop. That's the same thing.
I just pulled
Because
a
like I'll do it
scab
without
off
even
of my leg.
you're
Like,
like while we're talking, I'm bleeding out. Anyway, it's just like that. And so I because I was on medication for ADHD for about a
mhm.
year, and then my husband was like, "Do you think it's that?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so, because everything else seems like it's helping." And then like I'm Googling, of course, and it's like, yeah, the medication,
Wait,
like
that it
anything
can
like
like
that,
cause
exacerbate it.
it? Like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, like bring it back. That's
Hmm.
crazy. When did it start back
Isn't it?
again?
Probably maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And
Okay.
I try to look back and I'm like, what could have been the cause of it? Just to get into the nitty gritty, it probably, thinking now, I should probably do this in therapy instead, but it's probably because
I'm your therapist today.
it was probably because the my stepson's mom not letting them go to Mexico with us after we paid for their plane tickets and everything. So she told us,
Oh.
yeah, she told us after the fact that we couldn't. I literally in my head, I'm like trying to, reverse think of because life has been great, but that was like a really stressful thing for us. And then we ended up getting a lawyer, custody, all like battle, all the things. So
Yeah,
that
that's a
would
lot.
probably make sense. Yeah,
Well, and
that
it's
checks
not
out.
one thing, right? Like it's not one
Right.
thing. It's one thing
No,
that leads to
for
the next
sure.
thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And I think that's with anything with like our mental health is it's never one thing. That's why like the phrase like straw that broke the camel's back is like
Exactly.
a
And it's like
thing.
we talk about drinking this like nootropic or whatever, it's not the thing that fixes it. It like goes along with getting like fresh air and good sleep
Yes.
and all of the things. Yeah, I'm learning as I'm getting older. But So yeah, it's been pretty bad lately. And I stopped that medication a little over a week ago while we were in Mexico. And I've just
Really?
noticed that I haven't struggled with it as bad, but I ended up just shaving the sides because I had already pulled so much. It was just like,
Did you
it's
do both
gonna,
sides?
I did both sides.
I didn't know it was both. I thought it was just one. So wait,
Well,
so
I only shared one on social media and then I just went ahead and did the other one because I wanted to even it up. I like it actually though.
no, it looks so good. And like you have so
Love
much
it.
hair too that like I could not do that because I would my hair is like thin, so it would just be like meh.
It's funny. I do have very fine, super fine texture, but I have like dense, like
A
a lot
lot.
of hair.
Yeah. So wait, is this your first time having like
Here,
baldness
yeah. Well, no,
like
because
anywhere?
I did an undercut up to my ears.
Okay.
So it was literally like this much, like
I feel
shaved.
like okay, I've known you for like 7 years and I feel like did I know about the undercut?
I
I don't
think
know.
you knew me at my very boring, like long brown, not boring, but you know what I mean? Very natural, like long, dark brown hair. Like
Yeah.
after I had Frankie is when I started going back to doing like I had like a blue patch right here. I cut some off, I cut more, I
Yeah.
did red, orange, blonde, all of that, you know?
Yeah. I do remember
So
that. So is
every
it
time I do
still
my hair, my best friend's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I've always changed my hair. I just had like a period of time where I didn't.
yeah.
But speaking of not speaking of, but season what is it? What is that? Every time I see it, it looks like slow-mo.
Oh, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
My brain wants to say
Wait,
slow-mo every time.
did you
We're
say
not speaking
speaking
of it.
of? We're not speaking.
Well, we are now. So thanks for
What
bringing it
about
up.
it?
It makes me think of Whitney, how she gets her hair done all the time, and people are always like commenting on it. And she's like,
Yeah,
"You guys, we filmed over 2 years. I just randomly do my hair." That's how
that's
I
so
feel.
funny. That's how
Yeah,
I feel. Is it cold? I feel like it
not
would
at
be
all.
cold.
That's what
No?
my friend. Yeah, that's what Caitlin asked this morning, and I was like, "What? No, I haven't even noticed it." But
That's
my
so
hair gets
funny.
stuck in it sometimes because it's literally shaved, and so like the
Mhm.
other hairs will get stuck in. I'm like, "What the fuck?" It's so weird. People deal
Your
with that,
entire
and
head,
Sean has his shaved side, so.
yeah, your entire head is like a sensory board. It's like
Mm-hmm.
different textures and different.
Literally, and now I'm like, "There's no hair to pull." That's so weird.
That's wild.
It is.
Okay, so something Gabriela and I we're recording at PM, guys. Okay, it's like 7 o'clock my time. Like usually this is when my brain shuts off. But we were just talking about how the last couple of months, because like honestly, we haven't even caught up that much. Like we talk a little bit here and there.
No, we're catching up now.
This is yeah, sorry guys. So you're in this with us, but that's the point, right? That's what we wanted. We wanted it to feel like you were in this podcast with us. But we were kind of talking about like what were we saying of like I can't it's like wait, I haven't really been talking to anybody and I've been kind of disconnected. My like I'm not really on social media as much. Like am I depressed or am I mentally healthy? Like I
Like,
don't
is this okay? Right. It feels so weird. It's almost like detaching from stuff. And I think when you grow up and you like when you're growing up, especially when you're a teenager or like in your 20s, it feels like you're pulling back because of like a depression or something. But right now it's just kind of like because I'm content like where I'm at
yeah.
within
I
my
feel like
circle.
it's maybe how you feel being disconnected. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um Yeah, I feel like I've just been like super present in life. And especially, I
Mm-hmm.
know I don't want to talk about our kids all the time because we always talk about our kids all the time, but it's like as they're getting
On
older and
brand.
stuff, like it is on brand. Like it's just crazy with how like they're getting older. So it's like you really have to be like present because the time is going by. I mean, the time's going by fast all the time, but
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. It's wild as an introvert. Maybe you feel the same, but as an introvert, it's just wild because you're around people all the time when you're raising these big kids. Like when they're babies, you're just taking care of them and stuff. But I feel like as they're getting older, I'm like, shit, these are like I'm peopling all day long, even though I created them. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of damn peopling. So it's like it's kind of nice to just be present and not have to be all over the place
Yeah, I bet you would probably experience it more though because yours are in public school for now. So,
for
because
now.
like for mine, they don't have a whole lot. It's mostly just like, but I mean, even that, even just co-op on Mondays and then soccer when it's soccer season, 3 days a week is still like you have to see people every day and like, hey, how you doing? And like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so weird. So weird. It's not, and it's like not if any of the people that I ever come across listen to this and like meet me in real life, it's not that I don't care about those things. That's just weird because it's like, I feel like being a human, I feel like we've made it so weird. Because, like, do we really care how you've been? And if we do, can we talk about how you've really been, you know? Like,
Right? Like, can we sit down and like get into the nitty gritty? I actually think this is
yeah,
something that was on the lost episode of 2024 that we will never talk about again or never listen
honestly.
to. Is what did we talk about? It was something about I cracked the code of when you see somebody in public. I hate it. I hate
Oh,
it so
you did
much.
say this on that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know when you meet somebody in public, I mean, you know this, but we're telling this to our besties here, is like say you're out shopping and you see like a parent of your kid's friend or something, or you see somebody that you know from high
Like, you know
school.
them, but you're not like,
Yeah, like it's not somebody I'm gonna be like if I saw you at the store, I'd be like, "Oh my God, hi,"
right,
and then you'd be stuck with me for the rest of the day. But
right.
like it's these people that you like see and you don't necessarily want to like stop and chat, but you don't want to be an asshole. And what do we always say when we see people? We always say, "Hey, how are you? How have you been?" But
How
like
have you
no,
been?
nobody really wants to sit and actually stop
Right.
and like have a conversation, but it's also awkward
Especially if you have
because
kids, you're in the grocery store. It's like,
yeah. So it's like you just say good. So what did I say? What was it? What did I do to crack the code?
I literally thought it was like, it's so nice
G-
to see you.
Good to see
It's good to
you.
see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
hey, it's
instead
good
of
to
saying,
see
"Hey,
you.
how are you?" She's like, "Hey, good to see you. Bye."
Yeah, it's good
Just
to
gonna
see you.
wheel my car. It is.
See
It
you
is good
next
to
time.
see you. I don't need a question. Don't ask me a
Now
question.
anybody that you meet in your town is gonna be like, I thought we were friends. I thought we were
So
closer than
you're
that.
telling me you don't want to talk to me. Got it.
You're like, it's so good to see you. And she's like,
Oh, don't hate me. I thought of a
no,
new
just kidding.
sticker idea. I thought of an
What?
so I'm gonna make a sticker that says I don't know what the beginning is gonna say yet, so maybe we can you can workshop this with me. But basically, you know, like the saying, like just feed me and tell me I'm pretty.
Hmm.
It's gonna be just feed me and tell me you're not mad at me.
That's a good one. No,
If
it's literally
anyone
perfect.
steals that, I will slap you across the face.
See you in small claims court
Yes.
if you steal that. I
TM.
love that. Literally. That's so cute because it's perfect because honestly. Yes, actually yesterday Sean, we were driving somewhere and I looked at Sean and I'm like, of course, for reference, we've been out of the country for 3 weeks and then like he had the last 2 days off to like get, the boys back and all that. So like we're driving home, we celebrated Malachi turned 10 yesterday and we celebrated his birthday and I just look over while Sean's driving home and I'm like, is anything going on? I didn't say like, I don't ask him any, like, are you mad at me or anything? I'm just like, are you okay? Is there something going on? Because I'm definitely picking something up, but I just, and he's like, typically he would be like, no, but he looked at me, he's like, I just, don't want to go back to work tomorrow. Like, I don't want
Oh.
to, and I'm like, okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to give you anxiety.
Well, no, but it's just like I feel like that like you're expecting him to say no because that's how the conversation usually goes. And
Oh
the
yeah.
second that it's like
Well,
not no,
no,
it's just
I
like,
get annoyed with him whenever he says no because then
mm,
I'm like, you're low key gaslighting me because there in the history of ever there has always been something wrong, even if it's
yeah.
just that you stubbed your toe earlier and it's bothering you. It does
It's
not
like
matter like what it
I know
is.
you more than you know yourself, so just tell me.
That's true. I know you all. So it's like I can pick up on any of that, of course. So that's the anxious child in me. But
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, I'm glad that he told me because I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can just like put that, because I have done the Brene Brown, like the story I'm telling myself right now is
Mm,
that you hate me. You
you
actually
hate
want a
me.
divorce. And he's like, what?
You are driving us to the courthouse right now.
He's like, I'm tired, you psychopath. I'm like, oh, okay,
You
my
mean
bad.
you have thoughts and things that don't have to do with me? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm a narcissist.
That wait, but like, are we? Because that's like a real thing of like, that's a saying, right? Of like, nobody's thinking about you as much as you think that they are. I literally went through like a rabbit hole the other day of random, like, like 5 or 6 years ago moments of like that made me cringe. Like, I was like cringing at myself of like moments or things I said or things like that. And I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, Larissa, do you think about anything anybody else said 5 years ago? No, like nobody in that situation is thinking about it.
I have to do that with my kids a lot where I'm like, I know this feels so big right now, but
I
like,
know.
can you remember what you did 3 years ago? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
okay. Oh man, being a human is fucking weird.
It's so weird. That's a sticker too. That's
Yeah, being a human is weird. It is. What was it? You said that you want to talk about like New Year's. Obviously, I want to talk about my trip too, but
oh.
I don't want to talk the whole fucking time. So,
Well, okay, so it is right now January 13th, which is wild, like it's insane.
Mhm.
And Gabriella had posted something. Was it on New Year's Eve that you posted it? I think it
What did I
was.
post?
You posted on your Facebook page how you were talking to your best friend, Katie, and
Mm.
she said what was it? It was something like that.
It was literally New Year's Eve. Like I
Yeah.
text she said she was like putting her kids to bed or that they were still up and it was like 9 or 10. Like her kids like your kids go to bed earlier. And so like we always have a different schedule. Like our kids go to bed so late cuz they're homeschooled and they get up late. So
Hmm.
like she said that they were still awake and I was like, "Yeah, it's New Year's Eve. Like we're all staying up
Yeah.
late, like, celebrating, and she's like, "What?" I said, "Isn't it gonna be, like, weird or, like, funny when your kids grow up and they're like, 'Wait, why didn't we ever celebrate New Year's Eve?'" Like and she's like, "What? I never celebrated New Year's Eve." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "No." I literally was like, "I'm going to Facebook. I'm going to take you to court right now because I literally am, like, out there pleading my case." I'm like, "Your Honor,
Yeah.
what do you mean?" So, anyway, yeah.
Am I the weird one or like yeah. So
Yeah.
and I think she even had commented on it and like I feel like she's totally comfortable with us saying this is she said that she never celebrated it, but it was always just like it was a holiday that she knew about that people would go out and drink and get drunk and like all of those types of
Mhm.
things, right?
Like, older
So
people, yeah.
what was the like majority on your thread of what people said?
You and her were the only ones that said that you didn't really celebrate.
Yeah. And to
Yeah,
be
she
honest,
literally texted me, she's like, "Larissa said so too," and I was like, "Well, yeah, but there was, like, 25 people that did." So,
so
like
like so mine was as a kid, like thinking back, and again, this I could be completely wrong. Like I am not saying this is accurate and like watch my mother listen to this and like
your
hit
mom's
me
like,
with like all these things because I literally have no idea. Like maybe it's something I like blocked out. I don't know. But I don't have any memory of celebrating like New Year's Eve at all, like as a kid, like as a family, like
yeah,
going to any parties, anything like that. My only memory is like my earliest memory of like New Year's Eve is once I became like a teenager and old enough to babysit, I would like
yeah,
babysit other people's kids while
so
they went out and got drunk. Like I
I
remember
think that
there
makes sense, honestly.
yeah, like and that's what I remember. And oh my God, there was this one year and it was like a friend of mine. I think we were like 13 or 14. She had a family friend who like had kids and like they needed a babysitter. So like me and my two friends babysat like four families worth of kids. So we were at like one house and like I mean to be honest it's kind of genius if you think about it. It's like you
That's a
guys
New
are
Year's Eve
all
party.
like you guys are all going out together. You get all your kids together, have other people watch your kids.
Mhm.
It was absolute chaos though. 0 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't have any memory of that. Did you
That's
always
actually, like, my
celebrate?
life on a regular basis with 5 kids. I'm
I
just
just have
like,
a gaggle all the time.
"Whose kids are these, and why am I not getting paid? Whose kid are you?" No, at this point, when they have, like, friends come over, I'm just like, "Whatever, there's more
Yeah.
I whatever. Just make
So
sure
did
you
you
eat, I don't
always
care."
celebrate as a kid, like New Year's Eve?
So a lot of the times I would go to Mexico for winter break. Like I would fly from the time so I started flying down to Mexico when I was 6. That's when I first time I flew by myself, like unaccompanied minor type stuff. And
Oh my gosh,
so
that's so little.
isn't it?
Isn't it?
I didn't think it was weird, but Sean's
Yeah.
like, because I said, "Why don't we let the kids fly, Malachi and Bellamy, like for the summer or something?" And the kids are all on board, and Sean's like worried about it. And I guess just because of like, I don't know, survivor's biased, I'm like, "No, it's fine. That's normal." He's like, anyway, whatever. So like I've always had the memories of like going down there for the holidays. It's always been way bigger in Mexico because it is a way bigger family. The culture is family, all of that stuff. And so with my mom, she's always, single mom, worked 1 or 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever. So we didn't do anything crazy big, but if I was home with her, we always celebrated or at the very least I could stay up, like my cousins would be over or I would go to my cousins, like whatever it is, like it would be something even if it was just that we could stay up and be like happy new year, but my
Mhm.
mom was always like that, even though we didn't celebrate things always really big, she made sure that we, like, acknowledged it. Even, like, driving, we did a
Mhm.
lot of road trips growing up, like, driving across state lines, I would be sleeping, and, like, I would know we were passing a state line because my mom would start screaming
Aw,
all the time, so my kids do it now, it's so freaking cute,
I
but
love
let's talk
that.
why am I gonna cry? Why did you say, "Aw," make me wanna cry?
Because it's memories from your childhood. No, I'm gonna cry. Stop.
We just can't look at each other, we have to just, like, turn our monitors off. I'm just like,
Well, I think it's because that's what we try doing as parents is like make fuck, hold on.
"Stop."
Um, we want our kids to remember
Have those
those
memories.
moments. Yeah. you
I
know?
posted that on my story yesterday about the cupcakes, the homemade cupcakes, and I'm like, how many memories are my kids gonna look back on and be like, "Oh, we were broke." But, like, I was saying it in a joking manner because, like, I have bought cakes before and my kids have I think I've always had to bake the cupcakes because of Malachi's allergies. So, we've
Mm.
always done the same kind, and so when I started buying them from the store when he grew out of his allergies, the kids were like, "Can you just keep making the ones that we've always had?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Aw,
So,
I
even if
love
we have
that.
the money, yeah, I had so many people message yesterday, "But you're so rich in love and you're so." I'm like, "Yeah, I was just kidding. I was
It's
just
it's it's a joke,
being a
guys.
smartass. I was just never mind.
I
Tough
love
crowd."
that though. I think that's so like that's one of the things too. I think it was on Valentine's Day or something. I made like a reel or I posted something because especially with social media now, I think it's so easy to compare like all especially holidays, right? Like Christmas,
Every holiday.
Easter, like, I mean, and some people, like Easter or St. Patrick's Day is like a second Christmas for their family, and you do you, no judgment at all. Like, I support, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's hard because then people who literally like are burning the candle at both ends and can barely like get through the day of like in the trenches of motherhood because everyone's in different seasons all the time
Yeah.
see that and it's like it just feels so defeating. And so I think
Yeah.
what you shared about like how it doesn't always have to be this like really big thing. It could be like this little moment of like the memories of just like driving through state
Because you
lines.
remember how you feel.
Exactly. Yeah. And so to any moms or dads or parents out there, like all that matters is like the memories your kids have. Like it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be extravagant, it doesn't have to be anything over the top. Or
For sure.
and like also your kids don't know either. They're not on social media and Pinterest like comparing it, you know?
It's actually one of the reasons I love homeschooling so much is because of that, because, like,
Yeah.
you know, kids go to school. I mean, I remember even being younger and being like, "Oh, wow," like, ugh, just comparing what your friends got or what you got or, like, this and that or what they wear, stuff like that, I really do like. And my kids have some friends who are public schooled, and, like, there'll be times where my daughter, who is 8, will be like, "Oh, but I really wish, like, I had a Stanley," and I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I don't know, they're cool," and I'm like, "Cool, I'll get you a knockoff one." Like, I mean,
Yeah.
she has I gave her my old Stanley because I got a different water bottle, but I was just like, "You don't even know why," or, like, saying different words that kids say
Yeah.
nowadays, I'm like, "Oh god."
Yeah,
And
Elliot's
I'm
Elliot's thing right now, it's actually hilarious because it goes both ways, right? There's some things that I'm like, "Mhm, please, please don't." And then there's other things that I'm like, "Okay, that's freaking hilarious." Her big thing, and Elliot's my 8-year-old, is she just for everything when she gets so excited, she goes, "Let's go!"
I
It's
say that all the time. I don't even know where it came from. I probably like podcasts or something, but it's like middle-aged white dudes say it all the time, and I feel like
maybe
one
that's
every
what
time
it
I say,
is. Yeah.
"Let's go!" all the
She
time. Me
says
and Sean do it jokingly.
she says the boys say it at school, and I'm like, "You know what?
Literally.
Stay hype, girlfriend. Stay
No, I love it.
hype. I'm here
There's so
for
much
it."
shit that our boys get from public school, and some things I'm just like, I don't even know what you're saying, but some things like are so funny,
Oh,
and like the other
yeah.
kids pick up on it.
We've created Avery's a little bit of the opposite kind of monster is she's so against things that are like trendy and stuff. Like she was on like a full-on Taylor Swift boycott for like months for the sheer fact that everyone else was obsessed with her. And
Mhm.
now she she's grown out of that and now she likes Taylor Swift and only the folklore album and things like that. And but yeah, it's just funny. It's like if everyone else is doing it and likes it, she's kind of like, No, no thanks."
I definitely went through that phase too, and I don't know what got me out of it. I don't even know, but I just remember being like a young teenager and being like, "You know what? It's actually punk rock to just like whatever the fuck I wanna like," you know? Like, whether a lot of people like it or not, like, I don't have to same thing about, like, hating men because, like, I did go through a really big man hater phase, and
Really?
yeah, and there's still a lot of most men I don't like actually. Um, it's terrible. Like when I meet women, I'm like, okay, whatever, neutral. Men I usually don't like. Like you have to make me
Right,
like you.
it, like, starts down here, like, you gotta, like, work up
Exactly.
to it,
You
yeah.
really do. And then you get to the baseline of being just a decent human and then I'm like, okay, you're cool. Like whatever. But
I'm gonna tell
I
Jason that because you like Jason. At
I love
least at least
Jason.
I think you do.
I do. I love Jason. I really do. And there's not like literally a handful of men that I'm like, I could probably fuck with him. I could probably talk to him. But same thing with that though, where like I went through that phase and finally now I'm like, okay, I don't hate all men. I just like, you know, uh, a little whatever. But like I can like men. I can be decent to men. So, that's some trauma we can unpack on a different day.
Okay, maybe we should have sticky notes here that we write, like, little notes we should talk to therapists about
Therapist about.
as
I'm like, you know what? Let me just jot that down.
And then you go to your therapist and like, here's what I discovered I need to talk through on my podcast this week.
Yeah. She's like, what the fuck?
I literally saw a sticker today and it had a couch on it and it said my therapist will hear about this.
That's so funny.
I laughed out loud.
For real. That's
Oh, it
so
was
cute.
funny. I know, it was so
What
funny.
else? So you guys, okay, you didn't celebrate New Year's that much.
Well,
Uh,
we did. We
it,
do now though. So with the kids, we do. Like it's actually like our favorite. The kids
I
stay up
love
till
it.
midnight, which my kids go to bed. Like we start
Earlier.
bedtime, yeah, 7 p.m. And like Elliot's
Yeah.
usually like out by 8. Avery's usually up until like 10:30 reading or crocheting in her room, but like they're in bed and like by like 8 o'clock every single night. But on New Year's, they do. They stay up till midnight. We play games. This year we watched our wedding video, which
Oh, stop.
we were all crying, all of us.
So cute.
And even after the kids went to bed, Jason and I kept watching it. And I was like, oh my God. So anyway, absolutely recommend doing that. But yeah, so it's like our favorite thing now. So, but it's, yeah, I don't remember ever doing it as a kid.
Yeah, we usually like the last 2 years we spent in Mexico with my family, but otherwise we've like the other 4 New Year's Eves, we've had the kids obviously, and we do like whatever that is, like the grape, sparkling grape juice, and
Yeah.
we do the little like the little glasses. They love that, and then like little
Yeah.
hats and like glasses, and we just like
Yeah.
we'll watch movies, we'll listen to music, we'll hang out, whatever.
Well,
They
and
they think that it's so cool.
you have a New Year's Eve baby too, don't, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
It's her
So she
birthday.
actually she turned 4 this year or last year. She thinks that her birthday is in Mexico. Like she thinks that we have to go to Mexico for her birthday every year. She's so funny. She said, "Are we just gonna stay here till my next birthday this year?" I'm like,
Oh my God.
"No, no, we're not." But it's so cute. Oh, what was I gonna say? Another thing about New Year's Eve babies. I saw someone post this where it says that's the only birthday that is. Nope, I'm gonna mess it up now. It's like the only birthday that is always next this year. Like your birthday is always this year if you have a New Year's Eve birthday. Like there's no days in the year after your birthday, so your birthday is always this year.
Oh,
You know what
yes.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Like right now for me, I have one this year, but then after September, I'll be like, oh, next year is my birthday. New Year's Eve
Right.
is like the only one where it's
Yeah.
this year.
That's
So
so
cute.
fun.
I know.
That's awesome. Nice little tax credit, baby.
Literally, I was in labor with her all day on the 31st, and I was like, are we gonna get her out or what are we doing? Came at
I
like
have
8:30 p.m.
Yeah. I have a friend who literally is a tax accountant and her daughter was born, I think like December 20 something or something. And she posted the other day, like, or she posted for her daughter's birthday and like literally on her post called her like her tax credit baby. And I was like,
Sean wanted to get like a onesie that said that.
God, it's
So
so funny. It's so funny to me.
they're so funny.
All right.
What
Well,
else?
okay. So let's talk about your neck. Can
Oh
you
yeah.
let's do that before we update with everything? Because I know that's a huge part of your life. So why don't you update our
Yeah.
our listeners on
Yeah.
what happened and when?
So um June of 2021,
It
I
was that long ago?
yeah, crazy.
Dude,
June of
times
2021, I had like my neck was hurting. Like I went to the doctor and let him know like my neck was hurting. They're like try chiropractic care, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm like walking around, it's hurting. We live on the lake, and so I jump into the lake with my kids, not like a very high cliff or anything. It was probably like 8 foot out of the water. I was just like getting in with him. And when I came back up, I'm like, man, my neck hurts so bad. And it
Mm,
hurt so bad. I went to the doctor just a few days later. I couldn't move my neck. Like I was like walking around like this. And so sh she gave me, I don't know, medicine, whatever. 2 weeks later, I went back to my doctor and I'm like, I'm starting to like go numb in my hands, my feet. I started like tripping over myself, and she's like, just go to the ER. Like go to the ER. So they did an emergency MRI and I went home that night. They sent me home at like midnight. They're like, wear a neck brace. We will be in touch with you. We'll give you a referral to neurology. Because I live in a small area. So there wasn't even a neurology or a
right.
neurosurgery person on on the clock. So anyway, I literally got a phone call from the surgeon the next morning. He's like, "Hey, is this Gabriela? I want you to come in today. We're gonna do surgery." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So go get that done. And then, they said like this should help. And I'm like, okay, cool. They removed a disc and then did a spinal fusion. and the pain never really went away. Like, I still have the same, like, stinging, stabbing, burning pain, and it's like a nerve pain, and it's my back,
Mhm.
my shoulder, my arm, and some days it's worse, some days it's okay. But 3 years later, like, I've seen the surgeon off and on again. At one point, he gave me an MRI for my shoulder because 'cause I'm like, "It hurts." Like, when I would do I met you through, like, working out. So, like, when I would work out, it would hurt worse. When I would do certain moves, it would feel like my arm was, like, ripping off my body,
Mm.
like, ripping. And so I just told him, like, it hurts so bad. So we did an MRI on my shoulder. Everything's good there. So they just finally did another cervical MRI, I don't know, a few months ago, whenever it was. And he's like, "Well, this disc that's above this one, it,
That they took out?
yeah, it's above the one that they took out." They said, that one he showed me, like, my things because I thought maybe I injured it worse or I injured it again or I did something else, and he's like, "No, if you look at the MRI from when you first came in to yours now, it was always bad, but because this one was, like because the one below it was, like, an emergency situation, like, you could have, like, not been able to walk if it got any worse. It was in my spinal cord, like, perforated my spinal cord. So he's
I
like,
saw the
"You."
X I saw the MRI for anybody
Yeah.
listening. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, like, really bad, and so he I guess the idea was that whenever I first had the surgery, he's like, "You have some nerve damage, you have nerve whatever, so this might get better because you're so young. It might not, whatever." I've done all of these different therapies and stuff for it, and, the idea was just that maybe I just had residual nerve pain, and so I was gonna go in to see a neurologist to try to get your sister had talked to me about it, a nerve ablation.
Ablation, yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Which
talking
is
to the
when
neurologist.
it's when they, like, deaden the nerve, right?
But essentially, like, cauterize it, whatever. Probably not the right
Blech.
yeah, probably probably not the right terminology, but maybe. And so,
No, I think it is. I think they literally burn it,
I think so too. So
but they
he
can
was talking to me about that.
reattach.
Yeah, and it's all painful, like, it's all whatever. So anyway, I was at that point because I was super depressed with it. It's been terrible. It has ruled my life for 3 years. So I saw a new neurologist, and he got an MRI for it. We did my whole spine. And he when I saw it and I saw the readings, I'm like, "Man, this doesn't seem good," but I'm not a doctor, so whatever. I saw him and he kind of like calmed me. He's like, "Oh no, like I don't think that it's surgical." And then literally I get a phone call from my neurosurgeon because he got the same images like 3 days later. He's like, "Yeah, we need to discuss surgery." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, we can
Hmm.
try a nerve block, but it's like this is what it is." And so I've done all the other stuff because I've done the chiropractic care and the stretching and the
Yeah.
whatever, the PT, and so at this point, I'm just kinda like, "Fuck yeah, let's just do it." So I didn't wanna get surgery before I went to Mexico, but I have an appointment with him in about a week or so to get a for my consultation, like, for my surgery consultation,
So
so I can just go.
what kind of surgery is it? Is it that they're removing the
It's
disc
a
or they're another fusion?
it's a yeah, anterior discectomy and cervical fusion, so they remove the disc, and then they put a metal plate over it, and they put it together, so it fuses the.
My mom has plates and rods in her neck.
Yeah, my mom has it in 2 levels of her neck and in her lower back. It's
My mom
very
too has
common.
also has rods in her back. See, guys, we're just soul sisters meant to connect in this universe.
But I'm your mom or
Also my sister, also the other day I literally had to leave work early because I had a muscle or
like,
something in my neck and right here go into complete spasm and I was Frankenstein all day. And it went into my
no.
arm. Yeah,
Oh,
so
it gives you, like, PTSD, especially when you know people with those problems. Because now anytime I've hurt after that, I'm like, "I'm dying."
I
I'm,
mean, we're not even that old.
terrible.
That's the problem.
That's what he said. He literally when he looked at my the first time I met the surgeon was the day I had surgery, and he was like, "This had just had to be, like, a really freak accident." Because every time I saw any of the nurses, they'd be like, "What'd you do?" And I, like, jumped into the lake. They're like, "You dove?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "You." I'm like, "No, I just jumped."
Did you do a flip and land on
They're
a
like, "Did you
rock?
do anything cool?" I'm like, A shark attacked me." What do you want me to say? Fuck.
So
I was skiing. I
do
don't
you
know.
think at all that like things were already happening and the
Yeah,
jump off of the cliff was
I think so.
just the
He
straw
literally
that
the way
broke
he
the
explained it,
camel's neck?
essentially, I think because the sad part is that Frankie was 6 months old when this
Oh
happened,
my
so, like,
god.
she wasn't mobile yet, but the day I had my surgery, I came back, she started, like, sitting up, and then within that week, she started crawling, and I couldn't pick her up for a month. Oh my god, it
Oh
was so
my
hard.
god.
But, I had already had such bad neck pain and I was nursing, and so I'm assuming the forward and this and all that is what, like, caused it, and then my surgeon said probably when I jumped into the water, like, feet first, it just, like, shot through up through my spine and then went out. Because like, you
Yeah.
saw the image, it was like, this is my spinal cord, not even just
Just
the
like
column that's around it, but the cord is, like, indented.
it was,
It's,
yeah,
like,
it was like that.
and so he removed all of that and got clean margins, but the one above it, and he said that too. He's like, "You were so young, it was kind of just like, um, what
But
is I don't know, it was."
now you're over 30, so all bets are off.
He's like, "Take them out. Take them all out. Fuse the whole thing." But, he just said that. My fear though now is that it's been like this for 3 years, and I wish he would have just taken them
Yeah.
both out. Because now what if I do have permanent nerve damage? Like, that's gonna
Yeah.
suck. I won't know until we know, but,
So with your
ugh.
injury and stuff, let's dive into that because I'm sure a lot of people too on here have, I mean, shit, even just listening, I'm like, oh, I have this experience too. You know, like so many people have like these experiences with injuries, whether it's, a lot of people are like deal with like injuries even from like giving birth,
Mhm.
and like things like that. But so what was the scariest when you were going through like the thick of it? I know you're still in the thick of it, but like when it all started and
Right.
honestly, even over the last 3 years, what was
Yeah.
like the scariest part of it
The scariest part.
or
I
hardest
actually
part?
don't know. Yeah, hardest part. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I think probably just feeling like just feeling like that it's always gonna oh, nope. That get it together. Trying not to laugh and cry, look like a lunatic. We just clipped this part and that's the intro. Um
Hysterical.
That it's always gonna be that way, like, you know how it feels? I think you can relate to anything when you're really depressed, you're having a really hard time, you're like, "Is this how it's always gonna be?" Like, I
Mm,
literally told Sean over the last, like, year or so, before I found out that I can't have another surgery that could possibly help, because I was just feeling really bad, I literally was just like, "I don't wanna wake up. Not suicidal. I'm not, nothing like that. I'm not depressed. I'm not unhappy with my life. I just don't want to be in so much pain because it does affect every facet of your life. And like your sister and I talked about this a lot, where it was like, you just don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to have to be a parent, even though I love being a parent, you know?
yeah.
And that's when you know it's bad when you don't want to do any of the things that you love so much. Like I quit working and serving is not like a whatever, like really sought after job, but like I love it. I loved it, love being able to be around other humans and like making money.
Mhm.
And so I think there's obviously a lot of hard parts, but that the feeling of like helplessness and of course that cycles
Hopelessness
into
almost. Yeah.
exactly, and like it cycles into like feeling so silly because it's like how many people have it way fucking worse. And like I know I shouldn't think that way, but it's so hard not to because it's like you can literally walk, you can use your arms. Like I have weakness in my right arm and that's about it right now besides the pain, but it's just like, oh my god, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible, but it's not like the worst thing ever, you know?
Yeah, but it's all valid too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because,
For sure,
yeah. Well,
for
thank you for
sure.
sharing that because I know that's hard.
A lot. Yeah,
My
no problem.
goodness. So what are you so what's the like recovery look like for your surgery? Or-
It is like I think it's a month of not lifting over like 5 pounds and then like I think 6 weeks of no exercise or something like that. I mean, you can like walk and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like
It's
having a
funny too
baby.
because yeah, I had never had any sort of surgery or any sort of procedure at all. So that was like crazy to me. I remember within a week of having that surgery, I, like, wanted to go out for a walk, around the
Mhm.
neighborhood, and so I started to, and I'm like, "God, I am so, like, out of breath, I'm so whatever," and someone commented because I, like, probably posted a stat or something, and they're like, "Yeah, you just had, like, a major surgery, that's." And I was like, "Oh, I thought I'd be fine. I thought I was, like, got it fixed," you know?
That's literally what happened with Jason after his emergency appendectomy is he
It's
was
so
like,
silly.
yeah, that's also happened since that happened right after our last podcast episode because that was October 28th.
I
Yeah,
remember.
but like literally he would like it was like a couple days later and it's like a super small surgery. Like it was even like laparoscopic. Like he has like a couple little,
But it's still a
scars.
surgery.
Well, that's what they said. Like he went in for his follow-up like a couple weeks later and they're like, you need to stop acting like you didn't just have an organ removed and have major surgery. He was like,
Like, your
oh,
body's trying to
okay.
adjust. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Wild.
but also he's probably seen that in other people too, I'm sure, because I know I saw it. My mom, who didn't have a choice, like, she's had multiple surgeries, and it's like, gotta keep going because you have to.
The people who take care of other people or who are really good at taking care of other people are the worst freaking patients. the
100%.
worst patients. Like, I saw the
I
same
hope
thing
my
with
mom
my
is
mom.
listening to this because
Yeah,
yeah.
moms, mine too. She
Yeah,
was a terrible patient. Still is to this day,
for real,
but
but take care of everybody is so well. But yeah,
mhm.
so that's it. I'm super excited for it though. I once I found out that I could have the or that I even whatever needed surgery, I like feel a lot better because
Good.
I tried like all the nerve medications and all of this other stuff or it's like pain pills and that's also I also don't want to do that. I am a fucking weirdo who likes to be sober. I don't like to drink. I don't smoke, like I don't use THC. I see nothing wrong with those things. I don't like the way that
Mhm,
I feel inside my body and my brain whenever I do anything like that. So
mhm.
even having to use a nerve medication, I tried one, I can't remember what it's called. I tried it for like 2
Gabapentin,
weeks,
maybe?
something like that. I know that was one of them, but I tried multiple. I remember, like, I was sitting at a restaurant and, like, I got a phone call and I sat there and I'm like, "Where am I? Who
Oh,
am I?" Like,
no,
it
no,
messes your brain,
no.
which I think gabapentin has, like, a lot of, like, lawsuits and stuff against it now. I don't know, but
Probably.
crazy, crazy, and it works for some people, like, I'm not even shitting on it, I'm just saying, like, me, if I could get to a point, obviously, where I can just, like, be me again and not have to have any sort of medication, even over-the-counter medications, like, I used to not take any of this stuff, and now it's like,
Mhm.
whatever I can do to, like, not, be in so much pain.
To make it through the day physically, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, with kids and, like,
That's
enjoy
crazy.
myself and enjoy the day. It is so crazy, even working out, like, that's such a huge part of my life. I've just completely stopped working out over the last 6 months because I've not found anything besides going on walks. I've not
Right.
found anything that doesn't hurt it. Yoga, stretching, anything.
Yeah. I think that's just like this is such a good reminder too of like you really just never know what somebody is going through because somebody could
Going
look at
through.
you and have no freaking idea that you are dealing with all of this pain, all of the like
Yeah,
and not even just the pain, but also like the mental load that comes like with this chronic pain, you know? So,
yeah,
and that's with everything. That's with people who struggle with any sort of chronic illness is like you can't always
yeah.
see that kind of stuff.
Invisible
So,
illnesses, yeah,
and
it
yeah.
definitely makes me I'm obviously already so empathetic, but, like, it makes me even more so where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you just never know." Like,
Mhm.
you never I some people I think you fall into 2 categories where it's like, "This has happened to me, and, like, I'm still being kind or I'm still whatever, so other people should also," or, like,
Mhm.
"This has happened to me, and so I can understand how easy it is to get to, like, a really hard place," you know? Like, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, maybe it's the narcissist in me, but 9 times out of 10, I'm just like, "That has nothing to do with me," you know? If someone's being, like, out of pocket or something with me, I'm like, "I didn't do anything wrong," you know? Because I did it, like, if you're yelling at me in road rage and flipping me off, I did what did I do? I accidentally
Hurt
was
you.
stopped for too long? Like, sorry.
Oh my god, wait, who says that? Maybe it's the narcissist in me.
I'm just the more I think about it, I'm like, "Hmm." But it's funny because 'cause I've talked to my friends about this too, like, when you're younger and you get in, like, relationships and it's like, they're, like, love bombing you and stuff like that, me and
Yeah.
my narcissistic brain, I'm like, "Of course they're in love with me. Why?" I'm like, "This makes sense. What do you mean they were love bombing me?"
Way to catch up.
Yeah, I'm like, "I love me too."
Wait, okay, this is actually so healthy. Jason and I actually got in like a little bit of like a tiff the other day because okay, something about me is I kind of was always that way too. Like when I was a teenager and growing up and all the things, I don't know, it kind of goes with what we were saying about the trends, right? Of like how Avery wants to go against what everyone else is doing. When I was like a teenager and all the things, in my brain, I was just convinced all men were trash and
Yeah,
that their only goal was to like, which this is so narcissistic now that I'm saying it out loud. It's like all they wanted to do was get in my
this is a
pants.
safe space, right, and
Yeah.
they did, but that's actually probably true.
But no, but it's actually, like, such a healthy mindset, and, like, what were we watching? We were watching some movie or something, and I was talking about how my favorite movie when I was, like, a teenager and we've also had this conversation about, like, how, like, I don't read, like, nonfiction and fantasy books, and I just really like, visual entertainment and TVs and movies and stuff like that. Anyway, my favorite movie when I was a teenager, I have vivid memories, I think I was in, like, 7th grade, was A Walk to Remember.
Oh, love that.
Ugh.
Sean loves that movie too, like, sobs watching it.
Jason hates it because he said his sister would watch it all the time, so he always had to watch it because his sister wanted to watch it. Um, but he but little does he know, maybe that's why he's such a good freaking guy. Okay, maybe he was getting subliminal messaging from these
He
cheesy
should be
freaking
grateful.
movies, but it was my favorite movie and I like because I'm like a psychopath, this is back when we had AIM, AOL Instant
Mhm.
Messenger for anybody who
Yep.
doesn't know. And we talked to, all the people and we had like away messages and we had like bios and all these kinds of things. If you don't know what that is or what that means, we're
This
too old
podcast is
for
not for
you.
you.
We're too old. So anyway, I remember I put in like my bio profile or whatever, looking, and I think I was in seventh grade, which is mind blowing to me because my kid is 2 years from that. Is I put waiting for a guy who does the CG. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm gonna play a game and it's gonna be a hint. I'm not just gonna come right out. And so I would have people message me asking me what a CG was because that's the whole point, right? Anyway, CG meant the chin grab.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
I'm a psycho. So it was like
I love it.
because in all these like cheesy, ridiculous not I wouldn't even
Yes.
but they'd like
Yes.
grab the chin and I was like, oh my God, he loves her so much.
Yep.
They're so cute. I want to love like
You
that.
got
You know
that
what I
chin
mean?
grab.
I hate this so much. Okay. So I told Jason this story recently, and he's like looking at me like I'm an idiot. But I'm like, listen, this is how, like, you can't just come right out and say what you're looking for,
Right.
or else the people who just want to get in your pants do it because they just want to get in your pants. No one was getting into my pants at seventh grade, by the way.
No,
Okay, guys.
really.
I don't know if I
They
was ever
wanted
even,
to.
I don't think I ever even kissed anybody at that point. Yeah, I'm like talking about, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, we got into a little tiff the other day because our kids don't watch like movies like that yet. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like all these
Yeah.
things. And they don't watch a lot of like suggestive type of stuff and everything. We have all the conversations. I mean, they don't know everything. We've already talked about that, but we have a lot of those like conversations and stuff. But I was talking to him and I was like, you know what? I was like, I Avery watching those kinds of movies would actually be really good because they like where it's just like a really good guy. I mean, he was kind of a piece of shit in the beginning of the movie, but he becomes a
Right.
good guy, loves her so much. They like idolize the woman. It's this beautiful love story. I was like, because I watch stuff like that and I didn't take, well, I did take some shit. I was in a really toxic relationship, but it could have been way worse. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So anyway, point being, and he was like, no, like she shouldn't watch movies like that because blah 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 blah. And he was like, I don't know. But in my brain, I think those types of movies help us have really great standards because you need to fall in love with fictional men with fictional storylines to set your bar really high,
I agree.
right?
I agree. And at the end of the day, not that I don't have like a fuck it parenting style at all by any means. I'm very strict about so much stuff, but like a lot of times I'm like, I was probably not doing worse, but like seeing worse,
Oh
subjected to
my God.
worse.
Do you remember the
And
movie
like
13?
I never watched it. Not because I wasn't even allowed to. I just never watched it. There was another one too that's like similar, but like but I know there was shit that I watched, even like music that I listened to that I had no idea. Just because it's suggestive doesn't mean that they're gonna know what it's
Yeah.
suggesting. Like
No,
it's
I
gonna take a
agree.
little while sometimes for it to be like in there, but I think that that's cute. Like I can see both sides of it. You don't ever
Yeah.
really think about what you're gonna be like, oh my God, concerned about as a parent until you have these kids and they get to these ages, and then you're like,
It's so weird. And I'm always putting myself back in like what was I doing at that age? And
yeah,
but yeah, the movie 13 is wild and
what
I
is
need to
that
be
about?
oh my God. It's actually on, I think it's on Amazon Prime or something now. I saw it the other day and it took me right back,
Wait,
but
who's the main character?
Rachel,
Mhm.
oh, she's the girl who's the voice of the mom in Frozen. I forgot her name. You might not know her by the name, but
Mm-mm.
it's insane. It's wild. It's about these 2 13-year-old girls. One of them's just
Mhm.
kind of like a, normal girl or whatever, and then
Does
the
the other
other
one
one
does the other one get like SA'd by her dad or something?
I don't remember. I don't
Is she
remember.
in like a facility or like something
No,
like
no,
that?
no,
No,
no. Girl
thinking of
Interrupted, I
something
think
different.
is what you're talking
That's
about.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see that either.
No, so the 13 it's just it's wild. If anyone listening has watched that and like has memories of watching that way too young, we need to talk. But it's these 2 13, I say with air quotes, year old girls, and they're just like going out and doing things. I mean, they're drinking, they're piercing their own belly buttons, which is fine. But the one thing that like really fucked me up was there's a neighbor across the street and he's like definitely like in his 20s and they like go over and they're like drinking with him and they're like seducing him and like making out with
Ugh!
him and they're like on top of him and I'm like "Ugh," like As a 13, like I can't. There's no way
No,
they're
that just gave me
13.
goosebumps.
It's so bad. And then like they're like having sex with their boyfriends and like all this kinds of stuff. And like I was definitely watching that like way too young. I got from Blockbuster, not the, do you remember Not Another Teen Movie?
That's probably the first movie I ever watched that I remember being like, what is going on here?
Girls
This
just
is clearly
topless.
fiction. This doesn't really happen.
Well, it's a spoof movie.
No.
But what's
Which,
fun,
yeah. Oh, bad.
it's I had a friend over, so it's so much worse because I had a friend over and we got it for Blockbuster. And like I remember
You
being
guys
in
are
our
like,
room.
well, this is all we have to watch now for the weekend.
You know, this is where like technology and stuff I think is very helpful when it comes to parenting
Yeah.
nowadays. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yes. Oh my God. Absolutely.
oh my God.
God. So
Uh,
bad. There's so many things I remember like that too. You listen, you reminded me with the AIM thing. I don't know if I said this on one of the podcasts already or if it was on the like lost one of 2024, but I my name, my like email or whatever that I had to have what or I
yeah.
created one was sexy soccer babe.
No, it wasn't.
I played soccer for one season growing up and I was so bad at it. I didn't even know what sexy was. I don't know why I did that.
I remember mine had X's on it. Like it was like an X in the
Oh my
front
gosh,
or an X at
yes.
the end or like XXX. And I had older siblings. So I had a brother who was 11 years older than me. So if I'm 12, he's 23. And he's like, Larissa, I don't think you know what that means. And I was like, I don't think you know what it means. Like,
Yeah, God. We were so stupid. God,
so,
kids are so dumb.
stupid.
Oh my God. I'm not
So
ready
fucking
for it.
dumb. I'm not
Uh,
either.
have you ever seen the movie Beautiful Boy?
No.
It's
What
a
is that?
newer-ish, I mean, like last few, okay, new. This is how you know you're getting old. Within the last 10 years, like
That's
within
not
the,
new.
well, okay, it's like it has Timothy Chalamet, it has
Oh,
Steve
love him.
Carell. Yeah, me too. So I don't want to give it away because I don't know if you'll enjoy it. It's good. It's Sean's the one that wanted me to watch it with him. He watched it for the first time when we first got together. I think it was new. So that was like 6 years ago. Um, but it's just about a boy who goes like struggles with addiction, like becomes addicted to stuff in and out of
Mm.
rehab, how it affects basically like your family, the people who love you. And of course, Sean has like way more. We've talked about this before, but like he has way more ties to it. So like he's watching it and he's just like crying because he has like all his stuff,
Oh.
And I'm like, are you okay?
I I love a husband that cries.
No,
It's the
me too. We
best.
watched Moana 2 in theaters before we went to Mexico and he cried. He's like, if you don't cry at that, you don't have a heart. And I'm like, it's okay
We
to
re
cry.
it's like he's defending it.
No,
Like
he's like, only real men cry. And I'm like, okay, no one cares that you cried. It's okay.
my kids make so much fun of me all the time. Like Elliot thinks it's like
Yeah.
so cringy, like when I cry at movies and stuff. And I'm like, I
It's
am
funny because
emotion.
Elliot reminds me of Malachi. They are like
Really?
so similar. Like he reminds like Avery to a lot of things, but like the funny and the spunkiness and like even that being like
D-
Malachi's like that.
Does he get uncomfortable with like vulnerability of emotions?
Not with me. I can think maybe, but
Yeah.
he's also we're very connected because he's homeschooled. So like
Yeah.
maybe probably maybe out in like public or something, he would be more so. But
Yeah.
like no, he's very much like a mama's boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not really.
I think that's
But
why she
Bellamy
gets
cries
mad
at
at me.
everything.
Yeah, I think that's why Ellie gets mad at me is because like it makes her uncomfortable because it's like a lot of vulnerability, so we need to work on that. But she's only 8, so we still got time. I didn't
Right.
learn it till my 20s. So,
No, for sure. Bellamy is definitely super emotionally vulnerable, which I remind her all the time is like great. Like there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that or whatever. But she's like me, like I see it all the time. Like I'll say something to her, and even if my tone of voice, I've said this a million times, like on the podcast, I talk how I talk. Even how I'm talking to you right now is how I talk to my 8-year-old. And so I'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, like I told you to pick your stuff up. Will you go put that up or whatever? And she'll be like, I'll look at her and I'll see little tears pricking. And I'm like, I'm not upset with you. Like, we have to work on this. I'm not upset with you. I just have like, this is my tone of voice. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a whole thing.
Avery's
Ugh.
becoming like my therapist. Actually, both of them a little bit. Like Avery can literally tell if I'm like, and sometimes I'm not even like frustrated or impatient or anything like that. It's more of just me being dramatic. but like,
Yes.
so she like looks at me and she's like, take a deep breath. And I'm like, okay, mom,
So
thanks.
many times, yes, where I'm like, I actually will go into like a little spiral in my head because I'm like, I hope they don't feel like they have to parent me. I hope they don't feel like they have to so
I
much.
mean,
You know what I mean?
honestly, good life skills though. You're
No,
welcome.
for sure. Especially if they like, you're like, if I'm the reason why you became a sane adult.
I think that's something that's going to be really, really hard for me as they get older is accepting that sometimes we are going to be the catalyst or like villain in certain
Yeah.
situations. Do you know? And like that, I struggle with so bad,
Yeah.
but there's like nothing we can do about it. It's like we have to, it's like one of those things where you have to remember the goal. And the goal is to raise good humans, functioning adults, healthy, happy, emotionally safe, all of those kinds of things. And it's like, as parents, we just have to accept that like sometimes we are going to have to be the villain in their story that created those good things.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, but I
I think I
hate it.
straddle the line of obviously the more I talk, the more I learn about myself because these are all things I think all the time, but I just don't always say them out loud. But I
Hmm.
do seem a little bit more like fuck it parenting because in my head, not that I want my kids to hate me for any reason, anything like that, but I fall a lot more. I straddle the line of like radical acceptance. Like I went through so much with my mom where I was so angry at my mom for so long. And then it's like you become a mom and you become
Hmm.
all these things. And I look at my mom and there's never a time at my old ass age, I do not look at my mom and think like,
Mm.
why did she do that? I hate that
Right.
she did that or
Or
anything
that
like
any of
that.
it was intentional.
No, I literally am like, "Oh, I have so much love for her, so much grace for her, so much like and all of it." Like I'm like, "Wow, she did so great with what she had."
Yeah.
And like that it's okay if it like sometimes it was fucked up. Like not that it's okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like I have
Yeah.
forgiven whatever. Like cuz I'm doing the same thing with my kids. I'm doing
Yeah.
what they're going to have so much more than we have now. And like that's
Mhm.
okay. Just kind of accepting it for what it is. Like I don't want them to like hate me and to like peace out and be like, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you were terrible. I hope that
Oh,
they,
no, definitely
you
not.
know, I hope that they like love me and want to be around me, but like I just have to be sure enough in myself that like I'm doing my best, even if it's not the best. And hopefully they see that, you know?
Yeah.
They probably won't when they're teenagers. They'll probably hate us and
Ugh, God, I hope
we'll be like,
not. I want her to be
I know,
my best
especially because you have
friend.
two girls. I have two girls, but they are, well, no, they're about like yours. They're 4 years apart, but like there's boys too in the mix. And like there's a
Yeah.
it does balance out so much, you know?
I know. Isn't it
So
wild to
much.
think about? Like at some point, you're basically gonna have like, let's see, 5 kids, like 7 like full grown people in your house at some point,
I
like
think
a
of this
little
all the
bit.
time. Like
And again, that's a lot of people.
our oldest will be 18 in 5 years. And the weirdest part is that our middle kids are so close. They're actually like stair steps. So
Yeah.
at any given point, we have two that are the same age. You know, the one in the middle, he is either the same age as his younger sister or his older brother all the time. So it's like we're gonna have like they're gonna be 16, 16, and 17, or they're gonna be 16, 17, and 17. Like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. That's crazy. I don't feel ready for that. And I even Malachi turning 10. I'm like, we have two kids in double digits. And by next year, by within the next 13 months, we will have four kids in double digits.
Yeah, that's insane.
But
Good
it's
luck
not
if you ever
okay.
blow up the number balloons because it's twice as hard. 'Cause-
Yeah, we do those. We do the number balloons. Oh
Oh
my
my God.
God.
When Avery turned 11 last month, I was blowing up the balloons and I was like, this
And
is
you're like,
literally twice the amount of work. I'm not here for it.
no,
It's
literally.
awful.
That's so funny. Do you guys have any sort of like traditions that you do for birthdays? Like, do you do birthdays like the same every year or do you just do different stuff?
So it's a little bit different because of COVID. So like once COVID started, our like birthday tradition was we like massively decorated the downstairs, right? Like
I remember that.
whatever theme they liked, and we went like over the top because they couldn't do anything.
Yep.
You couldn't have a party, you couldn't really like, do
Friends,
much and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So it was just like we wanted to make it really special. So we would like go over the top and do all these things. And then we'd usually, obviously do like a cake and stuff like that. Elliot
Mhm.
really likes going to Chuck E. Cheese on her birthday. That's like her favorite thing to do.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's fun actually. Like it's a lot of fun. But the last couple of years, so, like the last I'd say like like this past year and maybe the year before I think we like transitioned a little bit. We still like I'll get like the number balloons of their birthday and
Yeah.
sometimes I'll like hang something up, but like I'm not I'm not going all out and spending $100 at Party City to decorate the downstairs because like they're having a birthday party and they actually got really upset a little bit about it, which made me kind of sad because I was
Hmm.
like, come on, guys. I was like, I'm doing my best. Like, can you just meet me halfway here? I was like,
Yeah.
it's still gonna be special and all this stuff. So I mean, honestly, that's kind of it. Is we just do the number balloons, a little bit of decorating at home, and then Elliot's tradition right now is going to Chuck E. Cheese. And then we usually give them the choice of like if they want to have a party with friends or if they want to like go do something. So like for Avery's 11th birthday this year, she chose Great Wolf Lodge. And it actually made me so happy. And like I even asked her, I was like, "Do you want to invite a friend? Do you want to bring a friend with you?" She's like, "No, I just want it to be the family." And I was like, "Okay, okay, I love you so much." So we like went and
That's
spent
so cute.
a couple days. And honestly, the whole trip to Great Wolf Lodge for 2 nights, the food, everything was like the same amount that we would have spent on like a birthday party somewhere, you know?
No, absolutely. That's so funny you said that. I just last night went through and I'm like, if we're not gonna do Mexico again for December, which I would rather do, but it's so expensive. Um, why don't we do like Great Wolf Lodge? And so
Yeah.
like we don't live close to one. The closest is 3.5 hours. So
Mm.
we make like a trip of it, like a 5 day,
Yeah.
5 night, whatever stay. Because the last time we did it, I just had the surrogate baby and I did it. We did the trip. I did it like from me to the family, kind of like for the kids, like thanks for doing the surrogacy with me, supporting me through it, whatever, being there with me. And
Yeah.
so I told Sean, like, why don't we do it? And I looked it up and because, you get like the early saver, whatever,
Yeah,
discount,
there's
all that stuff.
so many codes.
And I was trying to look at like when is the cheapest time to go because we don't again homeschooled whatever. Even the boys with public school like their mom's typically okay with them like missing a few days. So I was looking at it for like the first week of December or the second week or something like that and it is so inexpensive if you do
Yeah.
like a 5 night and then they do have all those other things and still and Sean like we should just get a few gift cards here and there like for food, stuff like that.
Well, and
I want to do it.
you can bring all your own food too. So if anybody's on the edge about going to Great Wolf Lodge,
We love it.
I think I might actually work on like a PDF, like just a free resource
You
of
should.
like hacks and tips and tricks and stuff because I feel like we've cracked the code. Um, it's
Yeah,
just
you guys do it a lot. You're who I got the original idea from, and
really,
we loved that's my kids because we've done, now we've done Mexico twice with them. We've done Florida twice. We've done, I don't know, different places like Kansas City. We did. There's just, and Great Wolf Lodge has been their favorite,
yeah,
which we have 5 kids, so it is expensive. But when you just compare it to like getting to go there and stay there and do everything that is kid focused, it's
yeah.
even fun for us. Like if you enjoy being a parent, you know what I mean? And like you enjoy being with your kids, it's fun. Like,
Yeah, they're actually opening one up near us, like I think in the spring or the summer, like super close, like
so
only like
cool.
an hour away. And like 45 minutes actually, 45 minutes away. And I told
That's so
Jason,
cool.
so the Magi Quest, for anyone who's ever going, you have to do it. It's so much fun. The kids love it. I love it. But I told Jason, I was like, our next like date night that we do, like maybe our anniversary or something, I was like, can we go to the casino, which is where the Great Wolf Lodge is opening? And I was like, and they have outlets there, which is like my dream. We've actually done that for our anniversary multiple years. We like
We have
go
an outlet mall. I love
we go
it.
outlet shopping. It's my favorite. Like
Love it.
give me a good deal. It's like a high.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I was like, let's go to the casino. I don't want to gamble. I was like, maybe there's a show happening, but I was like, we'll go to the outlet malls and then like you and me, let's go to the Great Wolf Lodge. You don't have to stay there. You can literally go and like either go to the water park, which we wouldn't do, but I was like, you can go and you can pay $15 for a game of Magi Quest. And
Yep.
every location, I don't know if you know this, every location, the Magi quest or story is different.
Yeah, I know. So we
Yeah.
actually, instead of going to Kansas City, we want to go to the Irvine, like Dallas, Texas one, which
Yeah.
is 6.5 hours. We want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
So it's
so
totally
cool.
different. So I was like, can just you and me? I was like, we'll get one wand and we'll go play Magic Quest. We'll get some drinks. Like it'll just like that sounds like the best adult
It's
date to
so
me.
cute. That's how you know you're like older, but like in such a good relationship. Like I feel like you could just like little things like that.
Yeah.
I, oh my gosh, I'm so ready to have this freaking surgery. I'm just like so ready to, like, I'm doing fine today and I've been doing fine. Like, it's not going to be surprising to you whatsoever because you and I are the same in this way. But like when I'm in Mexico and I don't eat heavily processed foods and I don't have like a lot of the things that I consume here, I don't have the same kind of pain there, like, whatsoever.
Inflammation.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually insane. Like, I not obviously I do on the nights that I have, like, a lot of dessert or if we do, like, cakes or if we do whatever, but, like, typical day, like, It's insane, honestly. Almost everything is like fresh made and you know, you get like the fresh veggies and fruits and stuff like that from the market every day and it's
I love
so
that.
me too. Every time I go there, I want to live there. Well, actually, we're looking at properties this time because my dad owns a few and I'm gonna talk to him about getting one of them and building on it. And it's just so that we have a place there just to go to that's ours. We can rent it out while we're not there, you know?
That's so exciting.
I know.
I've never been to Mexico like like I go for like trips, but it's like you go from the airport to like a
Resort,
resort.
yeah. That's what
Yeah.
Sean, when we had gotten together, he had done that. And I've never done resorts. I literally just told him on the way back, I'm like, next we're gonna go for our anniversary to a resort like me and you. Because I've never been to that kind of Mexico. I've only ever been to like the
Mexico.
hood, Mexico City.
Okay.
Speaking of, Sean got his phone stolen in Mexico City.
Wait, what? What happened?
We are at, so my family, like you fly into Mexico City, and my family lives in right outside in the state of Mexico. And so it's about 45 minutes ish, whatever. But Mexico City, there's like this big thing. It was right after Christmas. It's like the lights basically. And Mexico City is huge. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mexico City is like one of the it's one of, or it is the biggest city like on the continent. It's like 20 million people. Mexico City is huge and it is like
Yeah.
bustling, like beautiful buildings, beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's great. Shopping is great. But we were there for the lights and all that and they have like these fake snow machines and like, you know, people go through them. It's just it's really cool and beautiful, but it was so packed and it was me and Sean, my aunt or my godmother, my cousin, a couple other people, and we're just like body to body. And like when I say that, I'm not exaggerating. I mean like my chest touching someone's back, someone's chest touching my back, that body to body, like literally sardines. And so
That sounds like
we're
my
trying to get
nightmare.
it was like it was a nightmare. And we don't typically go to the city whenever I'm there.
And you
We
had the
actually never
kids
do.
in
We
that?
had Yep, we had the kids. There was more adults than there were kids, so like I wasn't really concerned with that. And it wasn't even like it was super uber dangerous, but it was like it's pickpockets who know this place and who do it. So my cousin Jerry works in the city, or he used to work in the city, and he was telling us, you know, just be careful. So Sean had his phone up here in his chest in a little zipper. I had mine in my front pocket of my overalls. Well, we got separated, and so I started calling Sean. Sean pulled his phone out and was like, he answered it, and his zipper broke, so he couldn't put it back in there. He literally puts it
Mm.
in his pocket. We meet up. He puts it in his pocket, and I go behind him. It was literally a ruse. I swear to God. Somebody got in between us two. They pushed him.
No, 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 no.
They pushed him, but like not aggressively. It was more just like, oh, sorry. And then like when Sean turned around, was like, dude, there's a baby up here. Like, be careful. Like, don't push me or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, go ahead, go ahead. And this is all in Spanish. The guy's like, go ahead. And then he looks back at me. He's like, you go ahead too. And there was a girl there with him. And it had to have been right in that moment because my cousin literally turned around and was like, hey, they're trying to steal phones. He had just caught somebody sticking his hand in his pocket, sticking their hand in his pocket. And like he literally looked at him. He's like, so he turned around to us and it was within a 5 minute, I'm not even kidding you, made less than 3 minutes. And
Oh
Sean was
my
like,
God.
fuck, they took my phone.
Oh
And
my
like
gosh.
they immediately turned it off so he couldn't track it. It was a whole thing. I felt so bad. He panicked for like 15 minutes and then he was like, I'll get a new one. Like at least
I know.
like he's so Sean is yeah, Sean is so
And was
Sean.
that
But
that was like right when you got there?
it was 1 week after we got there because we were there
Okay.
for 3 weeks. So it was one
Right.
week after. So he had about 2 weeks without it, which he loved. He literally was like, I'm so juiced to not have a phone and to not be connected to
Yeah.
anything. Like he had a
Oh my God.
blast. But
Mexico Sean is my favorite just from videos and stuff I saw while you guys were there. Like he was living his best life. I
we
love
have
it.
a
Like
goal to learn how to like salsa together and how
the
to we have a
culture,
goal
like
this year.
his body was feeling it. Like it was the
He
best.
loves it. And if you don't know my husband, he actually was born in Germany. He is white. He has like dirty blonde, light brown hair, blue eyes, white, white, white. But like even before I met him, he was like I always have joked saying more Mexican than me because he's always worked in kitchens with Mexicans, worked, you know, construction with Mexicans. Like he speaks a little Spanish, whatever. Like he does
Back
now
of
more,
house
but
is a culture in itself.
exactly. Like literally, yeah, drinking on the job in the kitchens with the Mexicans.
No.
And so anyway, he loves it. He loves it so much. My family loves him so much. He is funny. Like I would go to sleep and he would try to he'd be like, "Okay, I'll come to bed too." And I'm like, "Dude, you like to dance and party and drink and have fun." So like I have so many videos. My family would like take videos and put them in the group chat like of him dancing.
That's
So
amazing.
funny. New Year's Eve, I went to bed. I made the kids go to bed at 3 a.m.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
they've never stayed up that they were. wrecked. Anyway, I went to bed at like 4 a.m. and then Sean's like, I'm gonna come to bed soon. And I was like, just we don't know if we're gonna get to come back next year or when we'll come back. So just go enjoy yourself. 6:45 a.m. this man drags us.
No.
He was out there with my cousins. He said he looked at my cousin Miguel and he's like, what time is it? My cousin's like, almost 7. He's like, I gotta go to bed. My
Oh
wife
my
told me she's
God.
gonna lock me out on the streets of Mexico if I don't wake up tomorrow. So
So
yeah,
what
it was
time
a
did he
blast
wake
though.
up the next there that
Oh, he
day?
woke up before me. He woke up around noon. So he had about 6 hours of sleep and I stayed in bed till like 2 p.m.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
Yeah, I know.
Wild.
It was so fun though. It's so fun.
As always, this is the most awkward part of the podcast is introing in and wrapping it up because we don't
The
know.
worst.
Yeah, we don't know how to do this. So, if you listen to this whole thing, if you're here with us, we love you so much. We appreciate you. We are going to try our absolute best to get an episode out before another 3 months, 2 months.
Yeah.
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 But as always, thank you for being here with us. We love you. We appreciate you. And until
Love you.
next time,
Bye.
bye.